Salve galera da BudoTV! Hoje nós estamos trazendo uma super entrevista com o Grão Mestre Frank Shekosky, gravada diretamente na Cromwell Martial Arts no estado de Connecticut, nos Estados Unidos. Para você que é fã de Kempo Karate, de Modern Arnis e de Kobojutsu, essa entrevista é imperdível. E claro, sempre lembrando, né? Não se esqueça de se inscrever no canal e de ativar o sininho para estar sempre recebendo as novidades aqui da BudoTV.
Sure, I'm Frank Shekosky. I've been working in martial arts for about 40 years. I've owned and operated Cromwell Martial Arts since 1993 here in Connecticut, in the United States. And the three main arts that we teach are Kempo Karate, Modern Arnis, and Kobojutsu, which is a weapons program. Sure. So I grew up very competitive in athletics. I played baseball from Little League and high school and college and Babe Ruth League and a number of different competitive leagues. I swam competitively and I weightlifted. And when I stopped doing some of those things, I really kind of missed the competition and that physical training. So a few of my friends had said, well, we've tried karate before and we really think you would like it. So I found a local school and I joined, and I've been doing it ever since. So the Kempo is the first thing I started to learn. It's based off of the laws of motion. You know, every move should be natural. It was founded by Grão Mestre Ed Parker. No art is all-inclusive, but it is a very comprehensive art. You know, has defense off of many different types of attacks. It uses speed and power and multiple strikes, and I just found it to be very, very effective, encompassing a lot of different self-defense techniques in it. So that's the base art, and I think it's excellent for self-defense. Yeah, I was probably about intermediate level in Kempo, and one day my instructor came riding up on his motorcycle, and he had some like handle or stick-looking things in his backpack. Well, I said, "Oh, I didn't know you played tennis. I thought they were tennis rackets." And he just kind of laughed and said, "No, these are sticks." And he pulled them out, and I kind of looked at them, and honestly, at first, I wasn't really that interested in it. It didn't look very exciting to me. But he kept talking about the sticks and how good it was, and Modern Arnis and Remy Priestess. So I thought, if this guy thinks so highly of it, there must be something to it, because I really respected his opinion. So I took a few private lessons. His name was Eric Alexander, and I really ended up really liking it a great deal. So there was going to be a summer camp coming up in Massachusetts. So me and my teacher went to that summer camp, and I met Remy Priestess there, and I just fell in love with it ever since. I've found that the Arnis flows well with pretty much any art. One beautiful thing that would happen at the camps is you have people from all different backgrounds. They might be from Tai Chi and Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu and all different type of arts. And Arnis seem to blend well with any of them. Especially it blends well with Kempo. I think because the emphasis in Modern Arnis is flow and counter the counter, and Kempo really has a lot of that as well. The moves really should flow naturally and flow well, and we're always learning how to counter different techniques. So I think that a lot of the attributes are similar between the Arnis and the Kempo, and the two definitely work very well together. When I was learning the Kempo, they had an instructor come in who taught the nunchucks, and I seemed to just take to it really naturally. I just found that I picked it up pretty easily. And then that same instructor came in another time and taught bow staff, and same thing, I found that I just kind of took to it naturally. So then I started working with a fellow named Nicholas Cordone. He lives here in the area, and he has a lot of experience in weapons, so he taught me quite a bit. And then my fight teacher, Eric Alexander, who also introduced me to Remy Priestess, he had a lot of weapon background. So I really learned it between those different teachers. Nicholas Cordone and Eric Alexander. There's some similarities, like with the swords that I teach, Japanese sword, there's similarities in some of the footwork. Some of the weapons, I wouldn't say correlate as well with the sticks, but yeah, definitely like the sword techniques correlate with the sticks pretty well. And mainly I do weapons because I like it. To me, they're fun, they're a good workout. I do think they have their place. If you look at throughout history, some of the greatest martial artists and teachers, most of them have at some point learned weapons. So I just think it's a good thing for every martial artist to learn. It may not be your thing, it might not be your primary art, but I think everybody should at least get introduced to various weapons. So when I was still training at somebody else's school, my main teacher moved out west. So he left. I thought, well, what am I going to do now? So I went to a few different schools in the area, and I liked them, they were nice, and they were okay, but I didn't feel quite like they were at home. It wasn't like my home for me. So finally one day I thought, I'm going to have to make my own home. So with the encouragement of Professor Priestess, he said, he'll help me out, he'll help give me advice, he'll be there to support me. I said, okay, I'm going to try it. So I took every penny that I had out of the bank, and I took the risk. I opened up my school. I started with 5 people, and you can be very nervous when you open up your own business for the first time, because I had no experience in business. But the first year we got 50 people, and then the second year we got up to 75, and eventually at our peak we had 125 people. So we kept building it. Yeah, there's always, any business owner knows there's always a lot of challenges. I mean, it's not even just trying to have enough money to pay the bills, but having all your staff get along and train them so they're professional. You might be able to get a lot of people in the door, but then it's keeping them, keeping their training, because people's interest goes somewhere else. Like maybe a young kid might want to try soccer, or swimming or something else. So keeping their interest is really the difficult part. And then the COVID epidemic, of course, is difficult for everyone. We had to just train online, and that's very difficult in martial arts. So yeah, there's been many challenges, but when I first opened, I never thought I'd get more than 5 years. And here we are over 30 years now, so I'm very proud of that. Okay, so every teacher will have their own philosophy on that. For me, I think that the physical moves are half of it, and then the philosophical or code of conduct is the other half of it. And I really think both are needed nowadays. If you just watch the news for 5 minutes, you can see that there's a lot of bad things happening in the world. So I think we all have to learn self-defense. I don't think we should be paranoid. I don't think we should walk in fear every day. But I think of it like if you're driving your car, it makes sense to wear a seatbelt. You don't have to be afraid every minute you're going to get in a car crash, but it just makes sense to take precaution. So same thing in self-defense. I think that we should be prepared, but not walk in fear every day. But to me, that's just half it. The other half is really a code of conduct. It's developing your self-discipline and your confidence and having that positive focus. So for me, martial arts is also about self-development, not just the physical part of it. And I really think there's a great need for that in the world right now. If you look at a lot of the things happening, there's lack of respect for people or places or things. So I think we all should work on that self-development. Yeah, no, just if you have any questions about some of the arts we talked about or about myself or my school, definitely feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to hear from you.